Hi guys, it is me, Jacqueline. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. For today's video, I have a pretty different one for this channel. I'm going to be talking about the popular books that I dislike. That's going to be very specific to the romance genre, so if you guys like this video and want me to do this for different genres, let me know down below in the comment section. But I have been very much into making more recommendation videos, so since I am always pushing books that I love onto you guys, I wanted to just talk about the books that I didn't really enjoy, to say the least, and just give varying opinions on books that I do and don't like. Just because I say I love a book doesn't mean you are going to like that book, and vice versa. That's what makes the world go round, and that's what I really love about this community, is we can all kind of discuss things together and really reflect on what we do and don't like. And I do want to be specific about why I don't like these books. Specifically when it comes to the romance genre, there are a few kind of things that I look for, and I can tell that's why I thought these were going to be ones that I enjoy, and I can tell that is why they are popular, but I can't really say I agree with why they're popular, or I can't really say I like them. So I'm going to just discuss a few books here. I even have an author to mention as well. If you guys have any popular books that you dislike and want to talk about, or if any of these, how you feel about the books I mentioned, let me know down below in the comment section, and let's get on to this video. So the first book I have is Wallbanger, and this is from Alice Clayton. It is a new adult romance contemporary, and in this book we follow our main character as her next door neighbor is definitely one that bangs walls due to his late night activities. She ends up meeting him in person, and her friends and his friends get along, and their lives kind of entwine, to say the least. And I was looking forward to this book. This is one that I was really disappointed in. I know thousands of people love it. I know it has a pretty good rating on Goodreads, and I know it has a decent amount of ratings as well. This is just not one that I found to be enjoyable. I found this to be very lackluster. I wanted more from this. This is essentially one of those hate to love romances, which is definitely something I love, and something I found that lacked in this one is that kind of passion I was looking for when it came to these characters. I found the characters to kind of be stagnant in a way, and I found these characters to not really have a lot of depth and dimension to them. And that's what essentially I need when it comes to one of these new adult contemporaries. I feel like I really look at the relationships involved, the characters involved, and the plot. And especially when it came to this story, while there were some funny moments, I wasn't really invested into these characters enough to really find it to be a well worth story for me. So this is definitely one that I did not like, to say the least. The next book I have is from a author I have heard actually really good things about her books, but unfortunately the one that I have read from her I did not enjoy, and that is Fallen Crest High, and this is from Tija. I believe that's how you pronounce the author's name. If not, I'm so sorry. But I have been recommended this author's work consistently. This was the book that I was recommended. It is a YA contemporary book. In this book, we follow essentially a girl as she kind of deals with these like two brothers that are like bad boys at the high school. There was so much about this book that I did not like. It was hard for me to really pinpoint something I did like. I really did not enjoy these characters. I found the main character to be very annoying. I found the love interest to be just not even attractive in any way to me. There wasn't really any quality that had me rooting for these couples to kind of get together, or these people to get together. It was one of those stories that I ultimately did regret picking up and reading, just because I didn't really feel any investment into these characters. The next book I have is called Collide, and this is from Gail McHugh. I believe this is another one of those popular authors as well that I've heard great things about her other works, but unfortunately this book was not it for me. I ultimately found that this relationship was kind of borderline abusive. I did not love this love interest. I hated the mantra that he had. Essentially, our love interest is one of those guys that take other men's girlfriends, and that is something that I feel like there is such a fine line, and this is definitely one of those stories that I feel like crosses that fine line. We have a main character that was emotionally distraught due to a previous relationship, and I found that she was just emotionally incapable of handling any sort of journey or relationship with anyone. I really wanted more growth from her character, and I found that she was very stagnant, and she really did need that growth, I feel. And the love interest for me, I didn't really enjoy anything about him. There wasn't any redeeming qualities that had me kind of lusting after him with the main character. It was just one of those stories that I didn't really get the characters, I didn't get the romance, and it just is not my cup of tea. The next book I have is one of my least favorite books. I know that's a very harsh thing to say, but especially in the romance genre, this is just one of my least favorite books ever, and that is S.C. Stevens' Thoughtless. I can say for certain you guys have probably heard of this book if you've ever been interested in the romance genre itself. It is definitely one of the most popular ones on Goodreads. I know this has thousands and thousands of positive reviews. This is one of those books that I just really could not get into. And bottom line, one thing when it comes to any story is an instant turnoff for me is cheating. When cheating is featured in a romantic relationship or in a book in general, I find to view that book or that relationship entirely different. And when it came to this specific cheating that kind of happens in this story, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's one of those things that I could not see clearly and really understand the intentions behind. And I found it was ultimately really hard to root for the characters getting together because I didn't feel for these characters. But in general, they were just so bothersome to me. I just had a very bad taste in my mouth when I was reading this story. It made me very uncomfortable. It was almost hard for me to push through it. This is definitely one of those books that I can't ever really rereading, let alone recommending. So as you can see, I definitely have a dislike towards this book. The next book I have is Bully, and this is from Penelope Douglas. Now, this is another one of those authors I have heard great things about her other books. It must be that this one is not my cup of tea, or maybe a couple of others, but this specific one that I read, I did not enjoy. It's actually one of my best rated ones in the collection of these. This is the only one that I think I gave a 2 out of 5 stars to, and the others I gave a 1 out of 5 stars to. But it's so slight, and that's because these characters, while I didn't hate, I didn't essentially feel anything from. I felt like this story was very surface level, and for something that is supposed to be like an enemies to lovers romance, I need that development. I need the characters to really kind of have this change, and I need them to have this change together, and then I need them to kind of grow in themselves but also together. Like, I feel like that's how enemies to lovers works best, because we really need to see their relationship kind of go throughout time. And I found this to be, yes, fast-paced and easy to read, but it was fast-paced to the point that the development of the relationship I found wasn't really what it needed. I don't think these characters are bad, but I just found that this wasn't really the romance I need when it comes to an enemies to lovers romance. I have read plenty of others that, especially compared to this one, doesn't. I just feel like those are definitely the right way to do enemies to lovers, while this is definitely not one that, especially for someone that loves enemies to lover romances, this is just not it for me. So those are all the books, the popular books that I definitely dislike in the romance genre. Now, before I wrap up this video, I do have to say there is a popular author I have, and this is one of those authors that I have been recommended time and time again. I've even attempted to read her works, not once, not twice, 3 times, and I don't know what it is, but I cannot get into Abby Lyons, and she is a very popular romance writer. She has a multitude of works that she has thousands upon thousands of really positive reviews, and I know a lot of people do enjoy her books, but there is something about the characters and the story and the plot, maybe the writing, I don't know what it is, but I just cannot get into the characters' mindsets or the plot itself. I can't feel for the romance, and it's something that I have tried so many times. The first time I've ever tried her writing was Fallen Too Far. That's one of her like beach romances, and I think I gave that like a 2.5 out of 5 stars. And I even read the sequel, which is Never Too Far. And I hated that book. I gave that a 1 out of 5 stars. I really did not like it. Then I believe I read the Existence book, which is sort of her paranormal series. And I think I gave the first book a 2 out of 5 stars. And I think I couldn't even get through the second book, which I'll insert the cover right here of what it is. I couldn't even get through this book. I just knew it was one of those stories that had that second book syndrome, and I just could not, I didn't even want to finish it. Vincent Boys duology. So the Vincent Boys, or like the Vincent brothers, I'll insert the covers on the screen. I tried reading this duology, hated both of them. I feel like I've tried so many times, and I never want to say never, especially when it comes to authors, because as you can see in this video, I always say, you know, it might not be the author, it might just be the book. There are authors that I've read one particular book by and hated it, and I've read another one of their works and absolutely loved it. I really don't like just completely discouraging an entire author, but I have tried 3 separate times with this author, and I just feel like that is enough for me. I have a lot of other books that I would rather read, and unfortunately she is just not the author for me. So those are all the popular books slash the one author that in the romance genre I really don't like. And yes, this is not all the books that I definitely don't like, but these are the popular ones that definitely came in mind that I wanted to talk about in this video. And if you guys want to talk about any ones that come to mind when you were watching this video, please leave them down below. I want this to be discussion. I know a lot of people do feel ultimately a little bit alone when it comes to having very polarized thoughts, but just know you are 100% valid. Every sort of person in the world will see something in a completely different light. We all have different perspectives. We all give something into something different. And what I find is so essential is just having respect for other people's opinions, seeing where that person comes from, and having a conversation rather than an argument. So I really do want to have a discussion when it comes to this, and let's just talk about it, because there is nothing wrong with hating books. It really makes the ones that we love so much brighter. If you guys have not seen my last one, I'll leave that on the screen, and also don't forget to subscribe for more, which is on the screen, and like this video, comment. I'll see you guys in the next few videos. I have one being an unhaul and the other being a reorganization of my shelves. So bye guys!